Agriculture is big business, scientific business, important business. I have become the greatest provider in all history. For young people, for senior citizens, and for everyone in between.
For decades, industrial farming was hailed as the only way to feed an exploding world population. But this is not so. Decreasing yields, polluted soil, poisoned water, and high oil prices tell another story. Modern agriculture is broken.
You'd have to take a look at the methods that they produce food nowadays. If it's considered natural, this monoculture, and there's heavy pesticide application, herbicide application, they till the soil a lot, so there's a lot of leachate of all of these chemicals into our waterways and rivers and local reservoirs.
For example, in the soybean business, where I think 90% of the market now is genetically modified. And that means essentially that the plants have been altered in order to accept the pesticides and herbicides. So what's happened, interestingly enough, of course, is that as you apply Roundup year after year and you do unit crops, is that the weeds begin to diversify and then they become resistant. And so you then have to put even in more, double the amount, up to double the amount of Roundup onto the soil.
I think the question to ask is what is natural in the world right now, because most of the soil is full of some form of pollution. The air is filled with some form of pollution, as is the water. So where you're growing in, quote, natural states, you're not getting a natural product any longer.
And while our ability to grow food is diminishing rapidly, the Earth's population is climbing at record pace. More people means an increasing demand for essential resources, especially water and food. This is the biggest challenge of the 21st century. How do we feed our planet and save it at the same time? We at Urban Barns Foods believe we have the answer with our patent-pending cubic farming system. A world first, cubic farming offers local fresh leafy greens that are GMO and pesticide-free all year long, no matter the season, no matter the weather, anywhere on Earth. From the Arctic to the Sahara, Urban Barns offers food security in an increasingly insecure world. The idea is simple. Instead of bringing the machines to the plants, we bring the plants to the machines. By doing so, we can grow an abundance of sustainable, nutritious, and flavorful leafy greens using a fraction of the resources and space consumed by conventional agriculture. And while this idea is simple, the technology behind is anything but.
The cubic farming system is an internal growth system, so we're not growing out in the soil outdoors. We take the plants, we germinate them, and we place them inside. As they rotate through, this comes back to the starting point. So about every 30 minutes to 2 hours, they'll follow back to the beginning. As it goes through there, we can provide the nutrients that it requires, so we water it once per cycle. We can also provide the heat and the temperature and the CO2 that's required. And then the lights are able to provide the uniformity so that the plants can grow. It's the same cycle all the time, so the uniformity of the plant, if I'm growing here or growing in Australia or Saudi Arabia, it's the exact same plant that we result with. So it always remains, the consistency is our strongest advantage.
Not only does Urban Barns grow lush, tasty greens without GMOs or pesticides, we can easily harvest and deliver within hours, not days or weeks. Fresh food with a low carbon footprint.
The biggest advantage that it has is the plants always come back to the same starting point. So from a harvest standpoint, it's very easy. It's literally sitting at your level and you just harvest it.
I think if we look at the carbon footprint of producing a lettuce today in California, with massive losses in the fields when you harvest it, losses in transportation, cost of transportation, the product that arrives, at the supermarket is tired and has lost much of its nutritional value. So here we can deliver, we can pick one day and deliver the same day.
For thousands of years, the Earth's climate has played a critical role in agriculture and food security. What has changed in the 21st century is the size and frequency of extreme weather patterns.
Our climate is changing, and we're getting strange climate growth patterns that are shifting, and what grew in one place is not growing there anymore. And what we're seeing now is that we're now very far away from not being able to feed our population.
That's where cubic farming is different. No matter the external conditions, be it pests, extreme weather, or water scarcity, an Urban Barns facility can offer a bounty of healthy leafy greens consistently and on time, anywhere in the world.
If I go outside, the plant has all these environments that it doesn't want. It's too warm, sometimes too cold, too much light, too little light. I'm able to meet what it requires. A happy plant is a productive plant, and we don't need to do any of the synthetic pesticides. We don't have to do herbicides. We don't have to do any of these other chemicals that most field-based operations do and some greenhouses do, because we have a cycle that maintains quality through this. The advantage that we have is that we're just supplying water that the plants require. When I do it on the field, I spray the whole field. Either the big arm irrigation system or a drip irrigation system. Water percolates down through the soil profile, and we lose that water. What we are supplying, we provide, and then any runoff that happens from this, we actually have a collection system which recycles this thing.
Spring, summer, fall, or winter, our produce is always in season. An Urban Barns facility can be set up anywhere on the planet, bringing the concept of local, global.
Le fait d'avoir maintenant des sources pour différents produits locaux, c'est vraiment quelque chose qui est recherché par les consommateurs. Donc les consommateurs veulent consommer des fruits et des légumes qui sont produits localement. Évidemment, ici au Québec, c'est pas quelque chose qui peut être fait à l'année longue. Donc en été, c'est pas un problème, les sources peuvent être locales, mais en hiver, c'est un problème. Donc c'est une approche qui est un petit peu innovatrice ici au Québec pour pouvoir avoir des produits locaux à l'année longue.
Terribly impressed with the opportunity that Urban Barns has to set up manufacturing and production of these healthy products in many parts of the world. And in many parts of the world, of course, you can't grow outside because of weather conditions, for example, in the Middle East.
And while our technology is revolutionary and our methods sound, it is truly the consumer's taste buds that will decide our success. How do we know we've made the grade?
La première bouche, c'est surprenant parce qu'on se dit qu'est-ce que ça va être, ça grandit dans un tuyau, on ne sait pas trop le goût que ça va avoir. C'est surprenant parce que c'est très bon, c'est goûteux, c'est très propre. Les herbes ont beaucoup de goût, beaucoup de force aussi. C'est là où j'étais curieux, je me demandais comment c'était possible d'accentuer ce goût. Finalement, c'est vraiment ça.
The generations of today are witness to a tipping point in population and climate change. But we are not simply spectators. We have the ability to turn the tide and change the way we live and feed ourselves. Wherever in the world, Urban Barns is local. It is fresh. It is sustainable. And not only is that good for consumers and our planet, it is good for business.
Because shareholders are becoming increasingly concerned about the environment. They don't want just profits. They want a company that is going to address these important issues.
What is really important now, and what people are asking for, is how can we feed the planet? How can we save the planet? The answer is right here.
Welcome to the world of cubic farming. Welcome to the future of agriculture.